race war, whose team are you on? Black people or white people?
Is there a race war? Did I miss it?
It would be frightening for this country to be taken over by people who refuse to reason and don't know that that's what they're doing. They don't know they're refusing to reason. They think that there's certain issues upon which there can be no reasoning. And you literally can't talk to them. They cannot be reasoned with. And put them in positions of power, and next thing you know, the country does start to disappear. That is a very frightening prospect.
These idiots, these Europeans have miseducated our people.
In this country today, it's not difficult to start a movement. People are still sleeping in their beds comfortably. They're still talking at the TV. It's never really gotten to the place where they need to get out there.
To go for smart bomb. War is show business.
You want me to produce your war?
Not a war, it's a pageant.
Can I borrow this?
Honestly, because we can't say it's politics. This is not politically affiliated to nobody, ne?
Just trying to make sense.
Did you really just say that? Did you just say I don't want to give it to you because you're black? Who are you talking
to? Give black people their rights, or we will burn this country to ashes.
I don't want to give it to you because you're black. You were speaking to me.
Okay, so whatever you want to roll with it.
Now my white friends are finally seeing themselves.
Whatever they want to do, let yourself be gaslit and swallow your pride.
You kiss my black ass, you ugly bitch.
People just did it stupidly. Like, honestly. Honestly, because we can't say it's politics. This is not politically affiliated to nobody, ne?
Are just afraid of the idea of like communism and big radical.
Building, black business owners, put that goddamn fire out. Black lives matter, put that fire out on that black owned business right there. That's what they did, they fucking weed at.
Why would we do this, guys? I don't fucking get it!
Put it out!
It's racial capitalism is really what it is. Like, I think we get lost in just talking about capitalism, but there's this like black radical tradition that really talks about how it's rooted in racist practice. So whenever we talk about capitalism, it's beneficial to us to think about it and talk about it as racial capitalism.
I also think that we are trained Marxists.
For what? There is so much built behind breaking that window that I totally agree with, because if I was in that situation, yes, I would probably want to break a window too, or break somebody's face with that brick, especially the person that's keeping me repressed in my neighborhood, that pushes me back into this economic slavery.
Now my white friends are finally seeing it for themselves on video, and they're starting to understand that they can never understand. Are finally seeing it for themselves.
Then you'll call the police, right?
If you wear that, I have been advised to call the police if you do not comply with my rules.
If the police could recognize that, look, black people call the police more than any other group.
Hi, Officer Jones. This is Raina Fortini. I met you at the swimming pool. I think it was you last week or a couple weeks ago now.
Okay, I can't remember you. What's up?
And I don't expect you to remember all the details, but you remember that the problem was because I didn't put my full address when I was signing in, if you remember correctly. If you could help me out here, because you saw what I was wearing. I was wearing like leggings and a yoga bra top.
Okay.
And do you remember what I was wearing?
So here I am just simply looking for a reality check from this cop. Like, can you believe they called the police on you in the first place? About my bathing suit? About my apartment number? You know, when I had good reason not to put my apartment number down and the lifeguard knew it. I mean, it's so tedious. But I wasn't the one calling. There was an organized effort by the condo board and my neighbors to call the police over any little thing to create a paper trail to get me kicked out of there. And I lived there for 16 years under that constant threat.
The police hate you, everybody look at it.
Wait, what makes you say the police hate me?
They told you so.
What did they say?
They said that they don't want to come out of it. They don't want to.
So that means that they are not they don't have an antithesis toward the police, an antipathy for the police. They simply want to be treated fairly and justly and decently.
Tomorrow if you wear that.
Because you're supervised, and you'll call the police, right?
If you wear that, I have been advised to call the police if you do not comply with my rules.
I mean, why couldn't they just take the stuff and just be done? Why do they have to burn? All my memories, all my children's photographs, everything is gone.
When the police arrive, the police work for us. We don't work for them. They are public servants to protect and serve. So when we get that on the table, when they begin to treat black citizens...
Just one day before the horrific death of 10-year-old Aiden Wolf.
Period. Like, why you don't love us? That's the question we want to ask police. Why you don't love us?
We will not accept hatred in New York City.
Shot in the stomach. He was rushed to the hospital right away, where later he was pronounced dead.
We need to end the criminalization of sex workers.
After leading the charge to defund the police, the Attorney General is now demanding more policing.
Volunteers will not do a full-time, dedicated bureau, 24 hours, 7 days.
White, black, white, black, white. War is show business.
They said they'd been invited in to repel foreign intervention after a coup.
I am Leila. I work as a content developer. We develop videos, infographics, and motion graphics to combat extremist content.
Unacceptable. Does not.
They said they'd been invited in to repel foreign intervention after a coup. In truth, President Hafizullah Amin was killed in his Darul Aman palace, not by Afghans, but by Soviet special forces, the Spetsnaz. His crime had been pushing reform too quickly, making a traditionalist Soviet ally vulnerable to Islamic revolution.
I'm delivering the solidarity shares to families in need, and it's in downtown Albany, Troy, and the refugee center that gets food.
This deeply traditional and xenophobic people, already alienated by Afghanistan's communists, grew more hostile because the new regime proved totally dependent on a foreign power.
America allowed this to happen.
To go for smart bomb. One video of one bomb, Mr. Morse. The American people bought that war. War is show business.
You want me to produce your war?
Not a war, it's a pageant.
Can I borrow this? Hey there, can we get confirmation if we can power down our battery? How many batteries do we have left?
We need a theme, a song.
Protesters just sang the Star-Spangled Banner.
Some visuals. We need, it's a pageant.
So besides the fact I am sure no one would even decipher what I was trying to say in the tweet, I was accused for hateful conduct by criticizing what I call the schizo move to pull out of Afghanistan as if it wasn't calculated. There was an attachment of the NGIC website, which basically describes itself as creating tomorrow's wars. And then I criticized their vax czar, Max Rose, on Bill Maher.
But even as they established radio communications, the message was getting back that this would be no easy intervention.
I'm not hearing from anyone.
Okay, ladies, now let's get information.
I'm going to charge my phone. Can you hold this, please?
It's a pageant. It's a pageant. That's what it is.
Yeah, so I'm watching this Spike Lee PSA last night, and in the middle of it, I see it says Tehran, Iran in the top corner there, and you've got a line of soldiers holding, it appears that they're holding posters, but if you look closer, this may be a Photoshop kind of thing, or whether it is or not, it was very it's happening, folks.
America allowed this to happen because these idiots, these Europeans have miseducated our people.
People are still sleeping in their beds comfortably. They're still talking at the TV. It's never really gotten to the place where they need to get out there.
The visual impact. The women dressing in white.
When we started, kids were being recruited off from their school campuses. Women were being raped repeatedly.
A brutal attack in Harlem on a woman buying a bottle of wine.
She says it happened after she turned down one man's offer to pay for her.
I politely declined and I said, no thank you.
They chased her across the street, kicking her, and one man actually bit her forehead, leaving deep wounds. She says he tried to bite her eye out. Others kicked her.
Holy
to
shit.
Bite me and do that, maul me the way that he did.
Different things were happening. So when we got together, the most pressing thing was peace. We weren't talking about who was going to get which job, which warring faction was going to win.
When I first saw the protesters, I had the same reaction. It was tempting to dismiss them as crazy or brainwashed. But as I listened more carefully, I heard them expressing the same fear of misinformation that I had.
And the refugee center that gets food.
Not a war, it's a pageant. We need a theme, a song, some visuals. We need, it's a pageant. It's a pageant. It's a pageant. That's what it is.
Because these idiots, these Europeans have miseducated our people.
For the ones who didn't have any kind of technology, the schools provided iPads. And so students were able to come up and pick up either Chromebooks or iPads. I know for a period of time.
That's Wi-Fi though.
So for a period of time, there was some company that was allowing Wi-Fi, provide Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi for students. End of April, mostly all the kids had some form of technology. And now they have to learn how to learn remotely.
As though they're these pure-hearted humanitarians who are so deeply concerned about Afghan women and girls. I'm sure they'll be leading the charge.
There's a whole generation of women and girls who are now getting their first glimpse of what life under the Taliban is like.
My thing is education for liberation. So if folks out again? Education for liberation.
I like that.
Yeah. So folks out there in the street and they're saying they want more funding for schools, we need to have laptops and computers. I need to be organizing them to take action.
How do we get all of our students equipped to be able to come online and to do the work?
We as parents and community demand that these things happen. Black and brown parents are the ones who chose to keep their kids out of school.
And why is that?
Why? Because they don't trust the system. Rightfully so.
The schools provided iPads, and so students were able to come up and pick up either Chromebooks or iPads.
A system who has failed their children many, many times.
End of April, mostly all the kids had some form of technology.
So much of the narrative in the media, as regards to this withdrawal, is a total joke, and it's self-absolving for the people who had a direct role in enabling such a systemic failure.
17-year-old Farkunda is one of them, and she joins me now from inside Kabul. Farkunda, I'm
Not a
really,
war. It's a
really
pageant.
happy to speak with
We need a
you
theme,
and really want
a
to
song,
hear from
some
you.
visuals.
We all
We
do.
need, you know,
Thank you
it's a
for
pageant.
joining us. I appreciate it.
It's a pageant. It's a pageant. That's what it is.
Okay, first of all, I thank you for hearing our words, and I'm happy to talk to you.
Self-absolving. That is a great way to put it, and absolutely true. Michael Tracy, thank you very much. Thanks.
The co-founder of Afghanistan's only all-girls boarding school tells CNN that she's burning her students' records in order to protect those students.
Nice enough people, they just haven't thought it through.
Farkunda, I know you had to move from where you were living because it just wasn't safe. Are you safe right now?
It is a question which it is hard to say that.
It just is what it is.
Will the scientific community have the courage to answer the question of whether these diseases might have been of their own creation? Thank you.